Leilani believed happiness lay in excitement, beauty, and new experiences. Yet sometimes the path that seems brightest leads into darkness before one finally understands what truly matters. Leilani awoke in a white hospital room, weak and disoriented. She remembered her attempt to end her life, the pain that had driven her there, and the emptiness that now surrounded her. Left alone with her thoughts, she stared at the wall, overwhelmed by regret. She thought of her husband, Elias, a patient and hard-working man who had loved her deeply. He had given her everything he could, working tirelessly, asking only for peace, respect, and love in return. His words echoed painfully in her mind, reminding her of his devotion and her own failure to value it. Leilani had once come from a good and disciplined home. Her parents had raised her with strong moral values, shielding her from destructive influences. When she fell in love with Elias, a foreign man, many doubted their relationship. Yet love overcame suspicion, and they married despite the warnings of others. At the beginning, their marriage was full of warmth and happiness. They spent time together, shared simple joys, and built a life based on affection and trust. But everything began to change when Leilani met Liza. She introduced Leilani to a new world filled with parties, luxury, and attention. Slowly, Leilani became fascinated by this lifestyle. She began to compare her husband to others, feeling dissatisfied with his simplicity and modest means. She changed her appearance, her habits, and eventually her values. Nights out replaced quiet evenings at home. Alcohol and cigarettes became part of her life. Her home grew cold and neglected, while Elias continued to work and care for her, hoping she would return to the woman he once knew. Then Leilani met Amo, a charming and attractive man who showered her with attention and flattering words. He made her feel desired and important. She mistook his charm for love and allowed herself to fall deeply into the illusion he created. The affair grew, hidden behind lies and excuses. Eventually, Elias discovered the truth. In silence and heartbreak, he withdrew from her, his patience finally exhausted. That moment marked the collapse of their marriage. Despite an inner voice urging her to turn back and seek forgiveness, Leilani chose to leave. She packed her belongings and walked away from her home, convinced she was choosing a better life. But the reality she stepped into was far from what she had imagined. Amo's warmth faded quickly, his affection turned into distance, and his promises dissolved into cold indifference. He admitted that he could not marry her and judged her for the very actions he had once encouraged. Leilani realized too late that what she had believed to be love was nothing more than illusion and desire. The life she had abandoned could not be reclaimed, and the one she had chosen offered no security, no respect. Her world collapsed completely, filled with shame, guilt, and despair. She found herself alone and without hope. The weight of her mistakes became unbearable, leading her to attempt to end her life. Now, in the quiet routine of the hospital, something began to change. The structure, the care, and the distance from her past slowly brought clarity to her troubled mind. She began to reflect honestly on her actions and to understand the consequences of her choices. She realized she was not alone in suffering. Others around her were also struggling, reminding her that hardship does not discriminate. Gradually, she found small moments of peace and began to let go of the influences that had led her astray. One day, her mother-in-law came to visit her. This was a woman who had once judged and criticized her, making her feel unwelcome and inferior. Yet now, she came with compassion and kindness. To Leilani's surprise, her mother-in-law apologized for her past behavior, admitting her prejudice and lack of support. In that moment, something shifted. The distance between them softened, and understanding replaced resentment. Leilani confessed her mistakes without excuses. She acknowledged her betrayal, her poor choices, and the pain she had caused. She expressed her deep regret and her desire for forgiveness, especially from Elias. She considered returning to her homeland, hoping to start over, far away from her failures. But her mother-in-law encouraged her to face her past instead of running from it. She reminded her that healing requires courage, honesty, and responsibility. For the first time, Lalani saw a path forward, not an easy one, but a real one, a path that required humility, change, and the willingness to rebuild what had been broken. As days passed, she prayed for guidance and strength. The weight of guilt slowly lifted, replaced by a quiet determination to become a better person. Sometimes people lose themselves while chasing illusions of happiness. Yet even after failure and betrayal, there remains a chance for redemption. True change begins with truth, grows through responsibility, and is sustained by the courage to choose what is right. In the end, real love is not found in excitement or appearance, but in loyalty, sacrifice, and truth.